शुरू करें?
Yes, sir. Charging मध्ये काढू शकतो.
अरहंत सिद्ध सुर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। तीन को स्वरूप जानी रागते भई जो भक्ति काय को नमाय स्तुति को उच्चारी है। धन्य धन्य तुम्ही से काज सब आज भयो कर चोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख ऐसो हम चाहते ओ मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। ओ मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। So today we are going to discuss the various classification of the Jain scriptures. Char Anuyog, 4 expositions. Anuyog means Kathan Paddhati and exposition means a way of presenting. So there are 4 expositions in Jain literature and we'll be studying about this. The important part is that depending on the situation where you are in, you have to adopt any one of the 4. You cannot do any 2 simultaneously, but one at a time. So depending on your situation, you have to pick up which one you want to, what kind of scriptures you want to read. I'll give you an example. When you feel that you are feeling depressed feeling or you are under depression, then you should read Prathman Yoga, exposition on biography and stories. How these people who were in such a tight spot at that point of time in their life and what practices they adopted and how they came out of those situations. So it truly inspires us and we feel that we are charged up. So that person has done this thing, so I can also do it. So it's again a kind of motivation for us. Now, when you feel that you are not observing the rules as laid down by our scriptures, you are you are doing things on your own and not according to the principles laid down in our scriptures. Then at that point of time, you need to read Charnan Yoga. They will inspire you that if you are in this, if you are in a householder status, then you should follow this. You should follow this partial vows. You should follow this, you should eat this, you should not eat this. So all this will help it. And if he is a monk, then what are the conducts of a monk that he will teach and see where you are faltering. So if you are doing any mistakes, you mend yourself and get into the path of liberation. When you feel that you have enough knowledge, you are superior to all others in the class or whatever, then you should read Karna Niyog, exposition on technical matters, because those are so subtle that our knowledge, your knowledge is very less compared to that, you know. So then you will not feel proud of yourself that you are the most knowledgeable. There are somebody on my head who knows everything. I know very few things. So there is nothing that I can take pride of. And when you see that you want to practice discriminative knowledge, right? Then at that point of time, you should read Dravya Niyog, or exposition on substances and metaphysics. So you see, there is a necessity of each exposition at a particular point of time. So if you are feeling depressed and if you start reading Dravya Niyog, then you might not connect it to it, you know, because you are already having a depressed feeling, and depressed feeling has just come because of your past karmas or for any other reasons, you know. Mostly it is our past karmas that come into fruition, and at that point of time different kinds of situations happens in our day-to-day life. So the best practice would be, depending on the situation where you are in, you have to adopt such a exposition that will take you ahead in the path of liberation. Everyone is clear with what I was saying right now? Okay. So the whole idea and the efforts to study this 4 exposition is this only, that we have different things in our scriptures, but what should you read at what point of time? That is very important. So it is like that we take all types of foods in our everyday life. Example, fruits, vegetables, chapatis, and then rice, and then dal, and etc., etc. So what should you eat at what point of time? When you wake up early in the morning, you want to take a breakfast. So if you eat rice, chapati, everything in the morning, then what will happen? So depending on the kind of appetite that you have, depending on the time that you adapt such foods. Now, early morning, if you have very less time, you want to go to the college or to the job, you would prefer something liquid, you know, like milk, fruit juice, you know, where you can gallop it very fast and you can catch up on your timings. But if you start eating at that point of time a heavy lunch, you know, in the morning, early morning, so you will be late also, and you will not able to digest that also. And in the evening, when you are back from your school, college, or say job, whatever it is, at that point of time, you will like to have light food, you know, light food, just to relax yourself. And so depends what situation you are in, and accordingly you adapt those foods. Similarly, in our life, we pass through different kind of emotions. Okay. Sometimes we feel that we are at the top of the world, and sometimes we feel that we are depressed. Sometimes we feel we are successful, and sometimes we are failure. So the solution will not be the same in all the situations, right? I will give you one more example. Like, you got a fever. Now Soumya got a fever through cold wave, you know, and you go to the doctor, okay, and doctor checks from his whatever expertise he has, and then he asks you what you had been through, and then he prescribes you a medicine. Then to the same doctor, Himali goes and says that I'm having a fever. So then again doctor will analyze the causes and then Himali will tell that I have been exposed to excessive heat, and because of that heat, I have got the fever. So the doctor will not give the same medicines as given to Soumya. Why? Because the causes are different. So the medicine is different. So similarly, in on our ups and downs in life, different kinds of situations coming up in our life, we have to adapt different approach to each kind of problem. And that is where the study of four exposition comes in handy. After learning the nature, the style of each exposition, you will be able to take a correct decision that what should be adapted at what point of time, what thought should come in at what point of time, what should you think, what should contemplate in a particular situation, right? So again, it's varies from person to person. It's like both of them were having a fever, Soumya and Hemali, but causes were different, so the medicines was different. So if Himali meets Soumya and say, where you have been to? Say, I've been to doctor, I got a fever. So Himali listens that much. So what medicine he has given you? So he showed the medicine. Oh, there was a chemist shop over there, and Himali bought that medicines and went home. Said, why I should pay doctor the consultation fees? Because anyway, you were having a fever, I was having a fever. So let's have the same medicines. Then what will happen? My question is, what will happen? She will be cured.
No, sir. I'll fall all the more sick.
Pardon?
So I'll have probably a bad reaction of the medicine.
Right, absolutely. So you see, it is so important to ascertain the cause and the situations and your capacity and your efforts, and your ability. All these factors takes us to the decision that what should be adapted at what point of time. So there is a place for each and every kind of exposition in our life, but what should be given a priority at that point of time is our own call. So first we understand what are the functions of each exposition, of the four expositions, and then we will try to put it in practice through an example, and then I will give you a homework. So when you analyze a particular problem from the perspective of four expositions, you are able to take a correct decision, right? So the causes of fever were different in both the cases. So the Charnan Yoga, or the exposition on conduct, that will differentiate the decision there at that point of time. Now you only think of the Dravya Yoga, okay, the exposition on substances or metaphysics, then it might not work at that point of time. So it all depends how you are able to navigate those situations in your life, and accordingly you have to put in the thoughts on those exposition and find a solution from that exposition. Okay, so I think now most of you have understood why we are studying this chapter and what are the applications of this in our day-to-day life, and how by understanding this we can make our life happy and blissful. So I'll make a co-host. Urja, I'll make you a co-host.
So actually, there's a light issue at my place, and there's no like laptop is not charged.
Oh,
Difficulty. I've just logged in from my phone.
okay. So
So
who
I
else?
can become a co-host and share
Okay,
my
I'll
screen.
make you a co-host, and you can share the textbook.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
somebody is not having. Yes. So page number 23, we have already studied about the life story of Pandit Todarmalji last week. And now we are supposed to start the chapter. So we'll begin the chapter, and you only read Himali.
Okay, sir. So should I read from a classification of the Jain
Yes, yes,
scriptures?
yes.
Okay. A classification of the Jain scriptures. Student. Whose life story has been described in Mokshmarg Prakashak? Teacher. There is no story in Mokshmarg Prakashak. Way to liberation has been shown in it. Student. So, Mokshmarg Prakashak is not a scripture. Teacher. Why? Student. There are stories in scriptures. My father used to ask me to accompany him to the temple where religious good stories are read. Teacher. Yes, there are life stories of great men in the scriptures. Those books which describe the results of the merits and demerits with the help of the life stories of great men, and in the end hold detachment alone to be worthy of pursuit, are the kinds of religious texts, are the first kind of religious texts. Student. So are religious books of many kinds? Teacher. Religious books are called the voice of Jinendra Dev. They propound detachment from worldly existence. There are four ways of telling this. Prathamanuyog, Karnanuyog, Charnanuyog, and Dravyanuyog. Student. I like religious books containing stories. They give me joy. Teacher. The goodness of religious books lies in the description of the religion of detachment, not merely in stories. Student. Then why have stories been written in religious texts? Teachers. You just told me that you like these stories. People engaged in worldly affairs do not like to listen to teachings of detachment, etc. They are just like sugar coated pills for people of lesser intellect, for inspiring them to take interest in religion of detachment through their medium. Ultimately, these preach the gospel of non detachment only. Student. So it is like that. Holy texts relating to life stories of people are included in Prathama Yog. What is the subject matter of Karna Yog? Teacher.
Yeah, just stop. Huh?
Yes,
So
sir.
first we'll understand the Prathman Yoga, or the exposition on biographies and stories. Okay. So you know the four names now. Everyone knows, I suppose. Prathman Yoga is exposition on biographies or stories. Then Karnan Yoga, the second one in the sequence is Karnan Yoga. The Karnan Yoga is the exposition on technical matters. Why it is called technical matters, that we all also understand just now only. The third one in the sequence is Charnan Yoga, or the exposition on conducts or ethics. And the last one is Dravyan Yoga, exposition on substances or metaphysics. Everyone will remember the name in English also, because I would prefer that you use the names that are given in English. Otherwise, you will never remember those, So anyway, that is really not important. So in the scriptures, like as the conversation between the student and teacher started, that whose life story has been described in Moksha Marg Prakashak. So there is no story in Moksha Marg Prakashak. Way to liberation. Moksha Marg is the path of liberation, and Prakashak means has been shown in it. So the scripture Moksha Marg Prakashak, which is written by Pandit Todarmal ji, depicts the way how to get liberated, So it is about that. It is not about any story or biographies. But the student thought that all the scriptures are related to stories and biographies only. So that was his false uh, belief. And then the teacher explains him that there are other things also in the scriptures. It is not only the life stories of great men that is depicted in the scriptures. There are other things which are exposed in this Jain scriptures. So what is then the exposition on biographies or stories? Those books which describe the results of the merits and demerits. Merits is punya, auspicious, and demerits is pap or the sin. With the help of the life stories of great men. Now, who are these great men whose stories are there in our Jaina scriptures, Pratmanyog? So those are the persons who have faced struggles in their life, and in spite of those struggles, they came out winner and they manifested the right belief. It's very important that soul has been there since eternal. It is not that there is a beginning of the soul. Soul is there from time immortal. There is no beginning. And the same soul has been suffering in the four phases of life or the four states of existence, whether it is human or subhuman. Human is Manushya, subhuman is Tiryanj, and then we have heavenly beings, Dev, and the hellish beings, the Narki. Okay. So we have been taking birth in one of those state of existence time and again. Okay. But we never realized ourselves. We never acquired the right belief, Samyak Darshan. Okay. So, those books which describe the results of the merits and demerits with the help of the life stories of great men. So, these are the great men who have manifested the right belief. And in the whole end, hold detachment. What is detachment? Can anyone tell me quickly what is detachment? Hindi, in Hindi. Vitrakta. Okay.
Yeah, Vitrakta, sir.
Passionlessness, detachment, these all mean same, the vitrakta. Okay. So in the end, hold detachment alone. Vitrakta hi prayojan hai. To be worthy of pursuit are the first kind of religious texts. Okay. So it is not the first kind, as the situation demands, you have to adapt the exposition. So it is not that first you should read stories and then you should read Karnan Yoga and then Charna. It's not that. The sequence is not that. Depending on the situation, you have to fit in. That's all. So that will be the last question of this chapter. But now we are understanding what is the exposition on biographies or stories. So with the help of the fruition of merits and demerits, like this soul did so much sin in this life. So in the next life, he got a birth as a hellish being. And there were infinite sufferings. Those sufferings that they undergo in a hellish state of existence, we are not able to comprehend with our speech. It's difficult to explain also. They only know what they are suffering, and the omniscient also know what they are suffering. So fine, that was about Pratman Yoga. So then the student says, so are religious books of many kinds? Religious books are called the voice of Jinendra Dev. So all the religious books are the voice of Jinendra Dev that has come through the divine sound of the omniscient और the जिनेंद्र देव, दिव्य ध्वनि में आई है बात सारी, है ना? They propound detachment. So each and every exposition takes us to passionlessness. Okay, detachment from worldly existence. There are 4 ways of telling this: Pratmaniyog, Karnaniyog, Charnaniyog, Dravyaniyog. Student, I like religious book containing stories. They give me joy. The goodness of religious books lies in the description of religion of detachment and not merely in stories. So whichever exposition you pick up, they all take you to the same destination, the detachment or the passionlessness. So our target or our ambition or our aim or our goal in life is to manifest detachment. Okay. And you adapt any of the exposition. As I said, depending on the life situation, you have to adapt. So whatever exposition you adapt, it will take you towards detachment. So we are on the path of liberation only. Only thing is that now supposing if you are going through a highway, right? The speed of the car will be maybe 100. But then you come to the service road or on the by lanes, then the speed will not be the same. Then you have to slow down the speed, you can run at 30, 40. And then further going, there was repairing in the road and it was all dug up, So there you have to ride through a speed of 10 kilometers. And at some point of time, you have to stop, So as you navigate through your journey, the speed is not the same. Similarly, in our life also, depending on the situations, ups and downs in our life, we also have to change the mode of our reading or preaching or teaching, right? We have to keep on changing the exposition depending on the situations. So then the student asked this question, then why have stories been written in the religion text? Right? Then why have stories been written in the religious text? Then the teacher explains that you just told me that you like these stories. So those people who are interested in this kind of stories or entertainment, for them, the exposition of biographies is good for them. People engaged in worldly affairs do not always like to listen to preachings of detachments, etc. They are just like sugar-coated pills for people of lesser intellect, for inspiring them to take interest in religion of detachment through their medium. Ultimately, these preach the gospel of non-detachment only. Non-attachment, it will be non-attachment only. Okay. Ultimately, these preach the gospel of non-attachment only. Non-attachment is detachment. Okay. So either you remove non or you change detachment to attachment. I will also correct. So it is like that. Holy texts relating to life stories of people are included in Pratman Yog. So this is all about Pratman Yog. So what we get from Pratman Yog, we understand that this person did so much sins in his life. So he got a birth in a hellish being. And this person did so many good things in life and he got a birth in human or heavenly being, where he gets all kinds of facilities. So this takes us to the conclusion that we should not indulge in sinful activities, and we should adapt. We should be always adapting auspicious activities. Okay, we should help each other. We should always, our nature should be such, just like to help each other, to stand behind anyone who is having a problem in his life. So these are some of the traits that are going to take you to a good state of existence. So if you do good things, good karma will bind. If you do bad things, sinful activities, then the inauspicious karmas will bind. And when they come into fruition, you will enjoy their fruits accordingly, right? So now, one question. Now you have got access to this religious scriptures. You were born in a Jain family, and from childhood only you were be taught by your parents very good things about this religion. So what would be a cause? Can anyone answer?
Can you please repeat the question?
Yeah.
So you have born in a Jain family now, right? Your present life and the present situation. You are having exposure to this Jaina scripts, to mandir and the community, the whole Jain community you have got access to, right? So this is a fruition of what kind of deeds that you did in the past?
So auspicious karmas that we did in the past,
Right.
they are coming to fruition now.
Huh. So we have got access to this kind of material, right? Now,
Yes.
at this point of time, there are people who are indulging in some sports activities, or in some, they are watching some shows on TV, whatnot. They are going to, they are going out for a holiday. There are many things that you can do in your life, but you are now studying the scriptures, religious scriptures, to understand this, to understand your soul, to understand how we can manifest detachment, So all these efforts of yours and the exposure that you have got is just because of your past good deeds. And those who have not done good deeds earlier, they are now wasting their time in some other thing and binding new karmas, So this is the difference that can happen because of your merits and demerits. So this was all about Pratman Yoga. We get very great inspiration that Sita ji was subjected to Agni Pariksha, she was supposed to jump on the fire. And since she was pure, she had never had a second thought, and she jumped on that fire, and that fire became water. How? Because there was a rise of auspicious karmas of Sita, and that the heavenly beings, they changed the fire into water, and that's how he didn't suffer. She didn't suffer at that point of time, right? Even when she was left in the jungle by Ram because of that comments by that Dobi, So at that point of time also, there he got association with some other good people, and she was alone there in the jungle, but she was protected by other sadharmis. So there again there was a rise of mutation of auspicious karma. So you see, even though those great personalities also, and then she was kidnapped. So there was a rise of inauspicious karma. So everyone has this mixed bag of auspicious and inauspicious, and keeps on changing from auspicious to inauspicious to auspicious. But those people who are very meritorious, or who are with a great auspicious karma, they have a longer exposure to this auspicious activities, and those who are having more sinful karmas or inauspicious karmas, they have a longer exposures to uh, inauspicious karmas. Okay, so this is all about the Pratman Yoga. So from these stories, we feel that we should not leave the true gods, the true scriptures, or true guru at any point of time, even whatever difficulties we face in our life, because from there only the solution is going to come. And if we denounce those, then we will not get the right kind of solution. So all the great personalities did these things in their life. Uh, I Another story of Shrenik Raja in his earlier life, he was a king, and there was another king in nearby place, and they had got enmity. So that king sent a horse as a gift to that Shrenik Raja's life, Shrenik Raja's life in that particular time. And that horse was really mad. And the Shrenik's earlier life thought that, oh, the king is so generous. He has sent me this horse, such a wonderful uh, animal, healthy animal. So he mount upon that horse, and immediately the horse started running. And it took such a speed that nobody was able to catch him. And his he went deep into the jungle, and there he got uh, he got an accident with something, and he fell on a deep hole. There was nothing there, nobody was going to help him, and he was put into such a situation within a span of 5-10 minutes. He was a king, he was in the kingdom, and suddenly all these things happened, and here he was helpless, nobody there to help him. And at that point of time, there was nothing that he can do, because the hole was so deep that he could not come out on his own. There was no way that he could come out. So in that hole only, he was there, and he started thinking about the religion, about the situations of the fruition of the karmas, and he thought that whatever comes in our life, I will accept it. So these thoughts were going on, and suddenly somebody came over there, and he helped him. He came out, suddenly. So the thing is that he never forgot the true God, the true scriptures, and true guru at that point of time. And that is what the situation got changed, and he was again in a favorable position. So the life will throw challenges at you. Some are favorable situations, some are unfavorable situations. But if you are connected to the religion, you will always find good solutions. Okay. So Pratman Yoga teaches us that whatever comes, whatever may be the situation in your life, if you are connected to the true God, true scriptures, and true monk, you will always find a favorable solution to that. And that is going to help you. Yeah. So now you know that when you should do Pratman Yoga, when you are getting depressed feeling, or you are not able to concentrate on anything, you should read the stories of great personalities, how they cope up with their life under such circumstances. Another inspiring stories is of Anjana, then Sita, then Maina Sundari, then Ram, Lakshman. All these great personalities always inspire us to get ahead in our life. So this was Pratman Yoga. Now we are moving on to the Karnan Yoga. So Pratibhaji, you read.
Oh, okay. Teacher, Karnani Yoga contains steps of soul's journey from mundane existence to liberation and states where living beings are to be found, different modes of karmas, and the geography of the three worlds. Since it gives figures and measures, it comprises most of mathematics. Student, it must be very difficult. Teacher, of course, because it describes very minute things seen and known by omniscient being only. Gomatsar, Jivkand, Gomatsar, Karmakand, Labdisar, Triloksar are all such works.
Bus. Stop here. So see, Karnan Yogs contains steps of soul's journey from mundane existence to liberation. Now, steps of soul's journey. So this means Gunasthan. You know Gunasthan. So Karnan Yoga, what Karnan Yoga contains? The first step is the soul's journey or the soul's different versions according to Gunasthan from mundane existence to liberation and states. States means where living beings are to be found. So this is called Marganasthan. Okay. So Karnaniyo contains different steps of Gunasthan and Marganasthan. So there are 14 spiritual stages of development called Gunasthan, and there are 14 stages of state of existence where living beings are found called Marganasthan. Okay. So Karnaniyo contains the details about Gunasthan and Marganasthan, first part. Second part, different modes of karmas. So the whole of karma theory is part of Karnanu Yoga. And the third part is the geography of the three worlds. Okay. Teen lok ka varnan. So the first one is Jeev ke Vishesh, Gunasthan, Marganasthan. Then Karmo ke Vishesh, 8 types of karmas, and then there are subdivisions, 148 types of subdivisions, and then 10 types of karmas situation, all these forms the second part of Karnan Yoga about the karmas. And the third part is the geography of the three world. How much is the Meru Parvat and how much is the measurement of this three worlds and all these geographical details that you will find in Karnan Yoga. So Karnan Yoga is a very vast subject and it has got this kind of descriptions. Since it gives figures and measures like Meru Parvat is of this much area and the upper world is of so much area and the lower world is of so much area and the medium world of so much area. So it gives all kinds of measurements and figures. So it comprises most of mathematics. So it involves mathematics and the mathematical formulas. Okay. So it is not everyone's cup of tea. It's a bit subtle and it describes all the things according to the omniscience. Okay. So then the students ask, it must be very difficult. Of course, it is difficult because it describes very minute things seen and known by omniscient beings only. So we don't know. We cannot see the karmas. Okay. All the karma is a matter substance. It's a pudgal dravya. But still, we cannot see the karmas. Why? Because it is very subtle, very minute, It can only be seen by the omniscient being, Kevli Bhagwan. Kevli Bhagwan can see the karmas, but we cannot because our knowledge is limited. We have only Mati Shrut Gyan. Mati is sensory knowledge and Shrut Gyan is scriptural knowledge. So presently we are having sensory knowledge and the scriptural knowledge, and that cannot comprehend the karmas. Okay. So this Karnan Yoga describes very minute things as seen by the omniscient beings only. Some of the examples are Gomatsar Jeev Kand, Gomatsar Karma Kand, Labdisar, then Triloksar, then we have Shapnasar, then we have Shatkhandagam, then we have Dhaval, Mahadhaval, Jai Dhaval, and so forth. Many, many scriptures. So what are the examples for Pratman Yog? So Pratman Yog had this biographies, biographies of, say, Parsva Puran, 24 Tirthankar Puran, and then we have Ramayana, Mahabharat, so Jain, then we have Padma Puran. So Jain Ramayana is a bit different from what we have seen in the Ramayana serial that was telecast in TV. So that is basically Hindu Ramayana, but Jain Ramayana is slightly different. So we should read the Jain Ramayana and understand it. Okay. So these are the examples of biographies and stories. Now we move on to the third one, the Charnani.
So,
Yeah.
so what are the three worlds? We know Mahavira Kshetra and Bharat Kshetra.
So the three world is Udolok, Adolok, and Madhyalok. Adolok, Urdhvalok is upper world, Madhyalok is middle world, and the Adolok is the lower world. Lower world is Narak, upper world is heaven, and medium world is where we stay right now. Okay. So these are the three worlds. We have a chapter coming up here in this Vitrag Vigyan 2, next chapter only, the three worlds. There you will find what is the geography of the three worlds. Okay. So yeah, the next Teen Lok, next chapter is three worlds. So we are going to start that chapter today itself, or otherwise we will, if the time is less, I will tell you the story of Parshvanath, which is also the 9th chapter in this textbook. Okay. So now we move on to the third one, the Charnan Yoga. Okay. And Somya will read that. Unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Student, is Chananyog easier to comprehend than others? Teacher, yes. It contains matter comprehensible to people of ordinary intellect. It elaborates the rule of conduct of the monks and householders, and as such, its style is that of books on ethics and morals. This classification specifies ways and means which encourage beings to leave demerits and follow real religion. Student, is Ratan Karan Shavkachar a holy work of this kind? Teacher, yes. There are others like Purusharth Siddhiyopaya also. Student, are Samaysar and Dravya Sangrah of the same category? Teacher, no. They are scriptures of Dravyanu Yoga because the nature of...
So you see, first we will understand the Charnan Yoga and then we will move on to the last one, the Dravyan Yoga. Okay. So Charnan Yoga is exposition on conducts or ethics. Okay. Yes, it contains matter comprehensible to people of ordinary intellect. So while we were describing Karnan Yoga, that was something that only a person with great intellect can understand, Karnan Yoga. But this Charnan Yoga contains matter which is understandable by people of ordinary intellect also. It elaborates the rules of conduct of the monks and householders. Okay. If you become a monk or a muni, what best practices you should follow? And if you are a householder, then what are the best practices that a good householder should follow? Those are laid down. So we have studied about this Shat Avashyak in Vitrag Vigyan 1. So there were 6 components over there: Dev Puja, Guru Upasana, Swadhyay, Sanyam, Tap, and Dan. These are the 6 things that a householder should do every day. So this was about the conduct of an householder. Similarly, there are conducts rules about the monk. What should a monk do? So unless and until you don't know what discipline is to be followed, how you will follow it? Okay. So Charnan Yoga explains all these. It elaborates the rules of conduct of the monks and householders. And as such, its style is that of books on ethics and morals. Ethics is Subhashit Kathan, inspirational quotes, what could motivate us at that point of time. And the morals. Morals is the Niti Shastra, that you should be always honest. You should not indulge in any of deceitful activities, right? So these are some of the things that Charnan Yoga teaches us: how should be our life, what should be our thoughts, whom should we mix with. If you are in bad company, you will pick up bad things from them. And if you are in company of good people, then they will inspire you to do good things in life. This classification specifies ways and means which encourage beings to leave demerits, and follow real religion. Real religion means vitrakta ki vriddhi karna. Okay. So Charnan Yoga, what Charnan Yoga teaches us? It encourages us to leave demerits, to leave sinful activities, to leave bad practices, and to adopt good practices, and to adopt good auspicious activities, and follow the true path of religion, the passionlessness or the detachment. So what are the books in Charnan Yoga? The first one is Ratnakaran Sravakachar. Then we have Purshat Siddhi Upay. So Ratnakaran Sravakachar is written by Acharya Samanbhadra, and Purshat Siddhi Upay is written by Acharya Amrit Chandra. And then, of course, we have other books like Sanyam Prakash, Sravak Dharma Prakash, then we have Ashtapahud, then we have Niyam Sar, then we have Mulachar, then we have Sagar Dharmamrat, then we have Bhagavati Aradhana, then we have Lati Sanhita. All these scriptures are dealing in the conduct of a householder or a monk. Like Pursat Siddhi Upay is mainly related to the conduct of an householder, and Ratnakaran Savkachar is also on similar lines, but Bhagavati Aradhana is on the conduct of a monk. Then Niyam Sar is also on the conduct of a monk. Then Ashtapaud is also about the rules of a conduct of a monk. So these are some of the books. So now, one difference between Karnan Yoga and Charnan Yoga: exposition on technical matters and exposition on conducts, ethics. What would be a major difference? Can anyone say what would be the major difference between Karnan Yoga and Charnan Yoga? Yeah, are you trying, Soumya?
Sir, Karnania.
One at a time. I'll hear both.
Yes, sir, Karnani Yoga is about karma, the classification of Jeev and all these details, which are very mathematical and very mind intensive. While Charnan Yoga is about ethics and morals, our day-to-day life, which is very easy to comprehend and can be read and understood by anyone who reads it.
Right, right. Very good. Good try.
Can
Anyone
I?
else? Yeah.
Yeah. So, Charnan Yoga is practicality, sir, of human beings. Hello.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Is it practicality of monks and householders?
Yes.
And Charnan Yoga is technicalities. Am I right?
Right, right, right. Anyone
Thank
else want to try? So I wanted to highlight one difference, which differentiates between a Karnan Yoga and Charnan Yoga is that Karnan Yoga, all the contents are, as rightly said by both of them, that it is something that a more intellect person can comprehend, Karnan Yoga. But Charnan Yoga, it is something that can be comprehensible by ordinary people also with less intellect. Okay, so that is the major difference between Karnan Yoga and Charnan Yoga. So those people who are very simple and who are not highly intelligent, they will get easily interested in this studies of scriptures by just following Charnan Yoga. It is very easy. And from time immortal, people have been indulging in this. In the name of religion, they have been involved in this activities of according to Charnan Yoga. And they consider that to be religion. But as I said, unless and until you understand 4 exposition, you will not be able to get the right decision. So it is very important that we don't see at things from one perspective. We should apply all the 4 perspective, and then we will able to get the correct picture of that situation. Okay. So that was about Charnan Yoga. Now moving on to the last one, the Dravyan Yoga. And who will read? 1 minute. Okay. So
Can I read, sir?
yeah, you read, Madhuji.
From where exactly? From where exactly, sir?
From there, student R. Samaisar and Dravya Sandra.
Page 25. Sorry.
Page
Is
24.
it page 25?
Page
What's
24,
24.
last
the screen?
question.
Yeah.
Now, student and teacher. It's is Ratnakaran
No,
Shravakchar
not that. That has been done. Next, student.
uh,
R.
student.
Samaisar
R.
and Dravya.
Samyas. Okay, thank you, sir. R. Samyasa and Dravya Sangraha of the same category. Teacher. No, they are scriptures of Dravyan Yoga because the nature of 6 substances, 7 fundamentals, and discrimination of the self from the non-self are dealt with in Dravyan Yoga. Student. Like Sarmanu Yoga, does this category also describe things known and seen by the omniscient? Teacher. No, it includes easily comprehensible thoughts like those in Sarnan Yoga. But this category emphasizes eternal behavior, while Dravyani Yoga describes the different phases of soul development. Logical treatment predominates in Dravyani Yoga. Student. Why does it follow the style of logical presentation? Teacher. It does so because here we have to arrive at spiritual fundamental principles, which we cannot do without logical treatment. Student. Some say that Dravyanu Yoga treats external behavior as something despicable. Is it true to say that people will detract from the path of conduct by reading books of this category? Teacher. External conduct without spiritual lenience has been decried in Dravyani Yoga, but it has also emphatically discarded license in the field of conduct. In fact, people will become abstinence minded by comprehending their souls by reading Dravyani Yoga. Student, what if some mentally
Dravya,
retarded people?
let me explain Dravya Niyog and then we will go
Yes, sir.
to the last part
Yes,
of the discussion. Okay. So,
yes, sir. Thank you.
so what is basically Dravya Niyog? What are the contents of Dravya Niyog? The first one, the nature of 6 substances, Che Dravya. Okay. The nature of 6 substances. The next one is the 7 fundamentals. 7 fundamentals is very important and it's a part of Dravya Niyog or the exposition on substances. Okay. And the third part is discrimination of the self from the non-self. Okay. 3 things. 6 nature of 6 substances, 7 fundamentals, and description of the discrimination of the self from the non-self. So these are the 3 main contents. Okay. So now you know all the 4 expositions and what it deals with it, what it describes, which methodology they adopt, all this is given here. Okay. So now we know the 4. Now we will do some discussion, but let me finish this one first. Like Karnan Yog, does this category also describes things known and seen by omniscient? So Karnan Yog, there is a spelling mistake of Karnan Yog. M will not be there. It will be N, Karnan Yog. So there are a lot of mistakes. No, it includes easily comprehensible thoughts like those in Charnan Yoga. So only Karnan Yoga have minute and subtle descriptions, which is not easily comprehensible like by simple soul. Okay, only the intellect can understand Karnan Yoga. But Charnan Yoga and Dravyan Yoga are easily comprehensible by ordinary people also. Okay. So this category, the Charnan Yoga emphasizes on external behavior. It is written here eternal behavior, but it is external because it deals with the conduct of the monks and the householder. So it is only the external behavior. Okay. So you correct there. It is not eternal, but it is external behavior. Bahya kriya, man vachan kai ki kriya. While Dravyanyog describes different phases of soul development. Is it correct? Who will correct this? This is not correct. Who will correct it? Dravyanyog describes the different phases of soul development. The first question is it correct or not correct? If it is not correct, then where is the mistake?
Dravyan Yoga is actually substances or metaphysics, as told by you.
Yes. And which would contain different phases of soul development?
Gunistan.
Yes, Gunasthan. So which Anuyog? Which exposition?
Charna Yoga.
Karnani-
Charnanu Yoga.
Oh,
Karnani Yoga.
Karnan Yog. Very simple. Karnan Yog. Okay. Karnan Yog.
Can you repeat, sir?
What you want me to repeat? What
Yes,
Dravyani contains is 3 things. Nature of 6 substances, 7 fundamentals, and discrimination of the self from the non-self. And here it is written, Dravyani describes the different phases of soul development. Right?
Achha.
This is not Dravyani Yoga, this is the Karnani Yoga. So it has been wrongly
Okay.
written here, but we
Written.
will correct it.
Okay.
So you write
Okay.
Dravyani Yoga describes, then you cancel all this, the different phases of soul development. You cancel this whole line and put it. Dravyani Yoga describes mainly about the soul's sentiments. Okay, mainly about soul's sentiments. Okay, आत्म परिणामों की चर्चा होती है, तो दिस इज अबाउट सोल्स सेंटिमेंट्स. लॉजिकल ट्रीटमेंट predominates in Dravyani Yoga. So mathematical, the Karnani Yoga deals with mathematical interpretations, and Dravyani Yoga deals with logical interpretations. Why logical interpretations? Because it's written in the next question. Why does it follow the style of logical presentation? It does so because here we have to arrive at decision on spiritual fundamental principles. Decision on is missing here. You can just put a apostrophe there and write decision on spiritual fundamental principles. Because here we have to arrive at decision or conclusion on spiritual fundamental principles, which we cannot do without laws and logical treatment. Okay, laws, न्याय और तर्क. ठीक है, without laws, LAWS, laws and logical treatment. So this is all about Dravyani. Now,
Sorry, sir. Can you please repeat?
which
I
one?
was also like, so the same bit that while Dravyanu Yoga describes.
Dravyanu describes mainly about soul's sentiments, the different kind of emotions a soul goes through, right? Mainly about soul's sentiments, whether it is of,
So soul goes through sentiments, is it?
pardon?
Doesn't the body, sir, does the soul go through any sentiment? It's the body, right? Soul
No.
is,
Body is so matter substance, but
yes, sir.
it is the soul which manifests into auspicious and inauspicious thoughts.
Karmas.
Yeah, thoughts. So it is mainly about soul's sentiments. Okay.
Okay.
Logic. So that's all. So now the last question about Dravyan Yoga. Some say that Dravyan Yoga treats external behavior as something despicable. Despicable means something that is नीचा, हीन भावना, हीनता और नीचापन दिखाता है ना. Some say that Dravyano treats external behavior as something despicable. Despicable means something that we need to discard, or denounce. Is it true to say that people will detract from the path of conduct by reading books of this category? Teacher. External conduct without spiritual learnings. It is not leanings, but learnings. Without spiritual learnings has been decried in Dravyani Yoga. Decried means nishedh, है ना? Denounce. So external conduct without spiritual learning is no use. Okay. So external conduct makes sense only when you know the when you actually identify your soul, when you realize your soul, then only the external conduct becomes fruitful. Otherwise, mere external conducts will not help. So external conduct without spiritual learnings has been decried in Dravyan Yoga. But it means Dravyan Yoga has also emphatically discarded license in the field of conduct. मतलब स्वच्छंदता का निषेध किया गया है. जगह जगह पर स्वच्छंदता का भी निषेध किया जाता है. It is not that Dravyan Yoga only Dravyan Yoga does not describe about the external conduct. Okay. So external conduct without spiritual learning is not anyways fruitful. So when we have the spiritual learnings and then we adapt those activities as prescribed in Charnan Yoga, then only it is fruitful. So Dravya Niyog also has a balance, like in the scriptures or like Samaisar. In the Bandh Adhikar, there are many things that has been explained, which are all part of Charnan Yoga. So it is not that the one scripture which is describing Dravya Yoga will have Dravya Yoga only in itself. It will have Charnan Yoga also, Karnan Yoga also, and Pratman Yoga also, but majorly it will be on Dravya Yoga. Similarly, all other scriptures are having similar kind of things. Even in Pratman Yoga, which is all about the biographies and stories, that exposition also have something related to karma, something related to descriptive knowledge, which is again Dravyan Yoga, something related to 7 fundamental elements, which is again Dravyan Yoga, and something related to conduct also, you know. So only it is that it majors in one particular type of exposition. And there are some scriptures which has got all the 4 aniyogs, you know, like this Moksh Marg Prakashak. It has all the 4 expositions, right? So, and then there are some scriptures where there are 2 expositions. There are some scriptures where there are 3 expositions, 3 types of expositions. So it is all mixed bag. Is it true that to say that people will detract from the path of conduct by reading books of this category? External conduct without spiritual learning has been decried in Dravya Yoga, but it has also emphatically discarded license in the field of conduct. So you cannot act as your whims and fancies. There are certain principles laid down in the life of an householder or a monk. And if you are a householder, you should follow that. If you are a monk, you should follow that. Okay. So it is like that. In fact, people will become abstinence minded by comprehending their souls by reading Dravyan Yoga. So first you read Dravyan Yoga and become and acquire the right belief, and then you indulge in all the activities according to Charnan Yoga. So this should be the method. So first you should develop interest in the scriptures through readings of Dravyan Yoga or Pratman Yoga, and then subsequently you should adapt good practices of conduct. Very important question now. What if some mentally retarded people become corrupt? Urja, you read this answer. Very good one.
Yes, sir. If an ass dies by eating sugar, people do not stop talking. People do not stop taking sugar. Likewise, if people of lesser mental development become licentious after knowing the fundamental spiritual elements, wise people should never abandon their pursuit of truth. The mentally retarded persons continue to pursue wrong faith. The only harm is that they will not enter good phases of life. Instead, they will be born in bad phases, but all the same, they would continue to exist in this worldly state. Spiritual teaching should not, however, be stopped or discarded because that would close the paths of liberation and thus harm countless people.
Then
Student, why read those texts which may have an element of danger? What is the harm if we do not read them? Teacher, the original schooling in the path of complete liberation is contained only in spiritual texts. If you decry them, you decry the path of liberation. Student, let us not read them first. Teacher, the practice according to teachings of Jainism is that one should acquire right faith with the help of spiritual texts, that is Dravyan Yoga, and then practice abstinence according to Charnanu Yoga. As such, Dravyan Yoga is beneficial in the first stages of development. Should we not first read Prathmani Yoga? There is no fixed rule as such, and such texts should be read first. Weighing one's own feeling, one should read those texts that will foster one's interest and conduct, or to read others according to one's liking. Many religious texts include styles of 2 or 3 classifications.
Hmm. So see, if an ass dies by eating sugar, gentlemen do not stop taking sugar. Okay, right? So that sugar is something which is going to harm an ass, but it is not going to harm a human being. So they should not stop taking it. Okay. So ass has died by consuming sugar. So we should not stop eating sugar because we are not ass, right? We are human beings. So human beings has their own conduct and best practices and that we should follow. Likewise, if people of lesser mental development. Now, when the question was there, what if some mentally retarded people? Mentally retarded people means pagal. But here in Hindi version, it is written agyani. So agyani means ignorant people. Okay. So we should, instead of writing mentally retarded people, we should write ignorant people. Okay. So whose intellect is there, but he is ignorant. He is not knowing the uh, essence of scriptures. That's all. Nothing else. Likewise, if people of lesser mental development, we should write people who are ignorant become licentious. Licentious means swachandi, the one who acts on its own, the one who does not follow the rule of conduct, you know. So, if the ignorant people become licentious and after knowing the fundamental spiritual elements, wise people should never abandon their pursuit of truth. Okay. So, by reading the spiritual text or the Dravyanyo, if ignorant people picks up wrong things, you know, then wise people should never abandon to read those scriptures. Okay. The mentally retarded persons or the ignorant person continue to pursue wrong faith because he is ignorant. He is pursuing wrong faith. He is mithya drashti, not with the right belief. Okay. The ignorant persons continue to pursue wrong faith. The only harm is that they would not enter good phases of life. So they want to explain us that the only harm is that they would not enter good phases of life. Good phases of life means good state of existence. Sugati nahi milegi. They will not get into human form or heavenly being. They will end up, instead they will be born in bad phases like hellish being, narak, and Tiryans, subhuman state. Okay. They will be born in bad phases means bad uh, state of existence. But all the same, they would continue to exist in this worldly state. तो रहेगा तो आखिर संसार में ही. Okay. Spiritual teaching should not, however, be stopped or discarded, right? So the Dravyanyog, which emphasizes on spiritual teaching, that should not, however, be stopped or discarded because that would close the path of liberation and thus harm countless people. Okay. So if ass dies by eating sugar, the other people don't stop eating sugar. Similarly, if somebody gets into become licentious, then we should not stop reading that spiritual text. Okay. It is his fault that he has taken up, he has apprehended, he has not understood the correct meaning of those texts. Then the student, why read those texts which may have an element of danger? Okay. What is the harm if we do not read them? We can always avoid the spiritual text because by reading spiritual text, one becomes licentious. So we should avoid. Then the teacher says, no, the original schooling in the path of complete liberation. So you want to get complete liberated, then the is contained in spiritual text only. So you have to go through this spiritual text only if you want to get liberated. Because here the path of complete liberation is shown vividly. Okay. If you decry them, if you denounce them, if you avoid them, then you decry the path of liberation. You decry the path of liberation. Okay? You denounce the path of liberation. तो उनका निषेध नहीं चलेगा. Okay? तो फिर again student has a argument. Let us not read them first. The practice according to the teachings of Jainism is that one should acquire right faith. पहले में पहले सम्यक दर्शन. So one should acquire right faith with the help of spiritual texts, Dravyan Yoga, and then practice abstinence according to Charnan Yoga. तो पहले तो सम्यक दृष्टि हो जाए, फिर व्रति, है ना? व्रति means abstinence. Abstinence according to Charnan Yoga. As such, Dravyan Yoga is beneficial in the initial stages of spiritual development or the lower stages of spiritual development. Should we not first read Pratman Yoga? So then now student is asking the sequence. What sequence should I follow? When I start reading scriptures, which scriptures should I read first? Which should I read second, then third, and then fourth? You tell me the sequence. Then the teacher says, there is no fixed rule that such and such text should be read first. There is no fixed rule. Why? Can anyone answer why there is no fixed rule?
Yes, sir.
Ah,
Sir, there is no fixed rule because depending on your circumstances, like the example
yes,
you earlier gave of the medicine,
right.
depending on your circumstances, you will read, and your frame of mind, will you read a particular text?
Yes, very good answer. And this is what we discussed in the beginning, right? So now you know 4 expositions, you know your life situations. Now you can apply it in your day-to-day life and enjoy those adverse moments also, and never you will feel depressed any point of time. If you understand this 4 exposition correctly, the rules of 4 exposition, the methodology of 4 exposition, the style of 4 exposition, you will never feel bad or depressed feeling, you know. Will always be cheerful, and the person who is going ahead in the path of liberation is always very enthusiastic and very lively, I would say, and he finds a way to be happy in all the situations. So with this understanding, can you will be able to solve your day-to-day life problems? Let's see through an example. Okay, now we'll be looking at an example. Let me finish this one. Weighing one's own feelings. So Himali gave a right answer, but let's read what it's written here in the text. Weighing one's own feelings, and we can add here, and the existing situations that he is in, one should read those texts that will foster one's interest and conduct. Okay? Or to read others. Or to read others means other text like Charnan Yoga, Karnan Yoga, and Pratman Yoga, whatever. Or to read others according to one's likings. Or you can keep on changing from one exposition to another exposition. Now you are reading Pratman Yoga. So while reading Pratman Yoga, there was some point of time, there was need to apply Dravyan Yoga. When you want to practice discriminative knowledge between the self and the non-self, you have to apply Dravyan Yoga. So you switch on, no? You switch on from Pratman Yoga to Dravyan Yoga, and from Dravyan Yoga to Karnan Yoga, and Karnan Yoga to Charnan Yoga. As I gave an example that when you are driving a car, you are not driving at a constant speed, Sometimes you speed up, sometimes you slow down, sometimes you stop when the signal comes, and if the road is not good, you move ahead in a very slow speed, So as the road improves, you pick up the speed. If there is a traffic congestion, you have to stop somewhere. So it depends. Now, if you say, no, I will go at one speed, is it possible? No, it's not possible. Either you will do an accident or you will not reach the destination. These are the two eventualities if you decide to go at one level of speed, right? So it is like that. So depending on one's own feeling, and one should read those texts that will fosters one's interest and conduct, or to read others according to one's liking. Many religious texts include styles of 2 or 3 classifications. So some of the scriptures have 2 to 3 styles, like some exposure to uh, substances, exposition on substances, and some exposure to exposition on technical matters, and some exposition on conduct, and some exposition on stories and biographies. So it may have 2 or 3 styles also in a particular scriptures. Okay. So there is not any thumb rule, you have to change your strategy according to the situation that you are in, and accordingly you have to adapt those exposition. Okay. So a small kid, maybe 6, 7 year old, was going along with his mother to the temple. Okay. And there was something, uh, there was a brick on the way, and that young kid, he was looking here and there, so he didn't see that brick, and he fell there. So his mother told him that you were now disturbing your sister, no? So you got the result. So this is which exposition?
Is it Charnano Yog?
No.
Sir, it's Karnani Yoga, sir.
Yes, Karnani Yoga. So initially he was inflicting pain on his sister. So now we got the result. Okay. So this is the way of explaining. Actually, the karma, it is the earlier karma that has come into fruition. He got hit by the brick. But it in Pratman Yoga, in like scriptures, we say these kind of statements. Okay. It could be Pratman Yoga also. In Pratman Yoga also, we say your past deeds, because of past deeds, we are suffering from this, like that. Okay. So it depends what logic you are giving, and accordingly the exposition will change. So if you are involving the karmas, it will be Karnan Yoga. If you are involving, say, some stories or somebody who had already suffered like this, you will be that will be the exposition on biographies. Okay. Now that same kid, he got up and he was again moving with the mother, and 1 minute, let me remember that exactly. So then the mother, they were walking, and then the mother said that, why you got hit by the bricks? Because you were looking here and there, and you were not looking on the road ahead. That's why you got hit by a brick. Now, this is which exposition?
Sir, this is Charnana Yoga.
Right, correct. This is Charnan Yoga. Now, again they were walking, and the mother was telling him that one day I was taking your Didi along to the mandir, and he also fell, but he didn't cry, just like you were crying right now. She didn't cry. So now which exposition is this one? One day I was taking your elder sister along to the temple, and she also fell, and she was also hit by bricks, but she never cried. So which exposition is this one?
Exposition of biography.
Yes, it is Pratman Yoga
Stories.
from biography. And then he takes that kid on his lap and says, "You are a good boy, you know, tum to Raja beta hai." Now, this which exposition this one? You didn't fall, वो तो दूसरा बच्चा गिरा था, like that. So now this is Dravyanyog. Now he is showing, she is showing him the practice of discriminative knowledge. That तुम तो नहीं गिरा था, दूसरा गिरा था, like that. So he is making the light of the situation. So this is Dravyanyog. So in one particular situation, you can express it from 4 ways, from 4 expositions. Okay. Now, what would be the need of the hour that you practice, right? If the kid is not stopping, is continuously crying, then the mother says that Didi bhi giri thi, but wo to roi nahi. So tum mat ro, like that. So the solution is same. Solution is the same, but the style of explaining is different. So for different styles, different exposition comes into play, but the end result is the same, right? So similarly, for exposition, the end result should be to manifest passionlessness, vitragta. चारों अनुयोग का तात्पर्य वितरागता है. It doesn't matter which exposition you are applying, but if you are getting the result of detachment or passionlessness, you have done the right job. Okay. So now I am giving you one more example. Now you have to answer. Okay. From 4.
Before that, sir,
Yeah. You ask.
before that, sir, yeah, please excuse me to interrupt you. As you were saying, the girl fell, she did not cry. The girl fell.
Hmm.
Hello,
Yeah,
can you
yeah,
hear
yeah.
me, sir?
Yeah.
The girl fell. Yeah, the
Yeah.
girl fell and she did not cry.
Hmm.
And Pooja said ki it is Pratman Yog. I could not understand why, sir.
Because it relates to the past events, no? So in biographies only we relate to the past events.
You know,
Also,
I
if
couldn't
I
get
may
it, sir.
add, I think the mother was trying to explain that, the Didi was of a better, you should be inspired by your Didi.
Yeah, that is what inspire. So Pratman Yog
Okay.
the stories and biographies inspires. उसमें we appreciate,
Okay.
or we criticize, कि ऐसा नहीं करना था ये, like that. So all this is related to stories. So once the stories are involved,
Oh,
so it's a
okay.
Pratman Yog. Any other questions? Now you ask, otherwise you will not be able to solve it,
You're telling me, sir?
Pardon?
Hello.
Yeah.
You are telling me.
No, I'm
Like,
not telling you.
what is the
Any
question?
other questions?
Okay.
Anybody having any questions on 4 exposition?
Oh,
The practical application, we are going to have few examples now. So if you have understood correctly, then you say yes, then I will go ahead with the examples. Or still I would explain the theory first. Because unless and until you are clear about the objective of theories, you will not able to apply it in the example, practical example.
Sir,
Okay.
in Dravyanu Yoga,
actually,
Yeah.
so we mentioned that, this is Atma ka Parinaman or the soul sentiment. Uh, but
So
can you
that is
give an
the
example?
that is the style, but in Dravyan Yoga, the mainly we discuss nature of 6 substances, 7 fundamentals, and
Okay, correct. Yeah.
discrimination between the self and the non-self. These are the 3 components. So I'll explain the main points of
one
each
one
exposition.
more thing.
Yeah,
सर
one.
मेरे को अभी भी क्लियर नहीं हुआ है कि
कौन सा?
वर्तमान युग में कैसे अपन इसको रिलेट कर रहे हैं लड़की जो नीचे गिर गई
हाँ,
So how are we relating it to the
because
stories
we are telling a
behind?
story, no, कि दीदी भी एक दिन गिरी थी and she didn't cry.
हाँ,
So actually the
हाँ,
didi also cried, but just to explain, just to stop that kid, mom says that.
हाँ. But Pratman Yug is only about stories of our ancestors, मतलब क्या, the great people, right? The
Yeah,
biographies.
great people also, there are biographies of great people also, and there are stories also. So stories are basically to inspire. So here the situation demanded inspiration. अभी उसको द्रव्यान योग नहीं बताना था, भेद विज्ञान नहीं कराना था, अभी उसको तो बताना था कि आपको दीदी को भी ऐसा हुआ था, वो भी नहीं रोई।
हाँ,
तो बच्चा सोचता है कि हाँ वो
हम्म,
भी नहीं रोई तो मेरे को भी नहीं रोना
हम्म,
चाहिए। So this much inspiration
अच्छा,
was required at that point of time.
okay, अच्छा,
Like,
very, मतलब it's in a simple way she explained.
there is
So,
no
yeah,
fixed rule
I
which
feel
expression you have to apply. You have to depend on the situations.
Right. So in a simple way she just told.
Huh?
That is what. She just told in a simple way.
Yeah, simple way, stories.
Okay. So, yeah.
Stories,
Okay.
examples, these are all
Right,
proper.
right. अच्छा, ठीक, ठीक, ठीक. Yes, I got it. Sir. Thank you, both of you.
ठीक है.
Yeah.
Now, so we'll do a practical example, and by understanding this example in your day-to-day life, every day you have to apply this 4 exposition, and then you will achieve the state of passionlessness or detachment. वितरागता की सिद्धि होगी. Right decision होगा और वितरागता की सिद्धि होगी. Both will happen. Okay. You will manifest passionlessness sentiment also, and you will also get a good decision. So if you apply one exposition only, the shortcoming is like that you are not getting the whole picture. To get the whole picture, you have to apply the 4 expositions. So when you understand, see, if you see a Taj Mahal from one angle, what you can describe, but if you see it from 4 angles, 4 different angles, then you are in a better position to explain the Taj Mahal, right? So similarly, 4 expositions will clear all the doubts, and it will give you a clear picture and understanding, and then you can arrive at a correct decision. Okay. So now I'll give you an example that one day you were crossing a road, okay, and suddenly a scooter came along and there was an accident and you got hurt. Now you apply what solution you will give in this situation, or what you will think in this situation according to 4 expositions. So first one would be the biographies. We'll follow the same sequence. First will be the exposition on biographies, then it will be exposition on technical matters, then exposition on conduct, and the last one, exposition on substances. So who will say first? Hemali, you try. I think you have understood the best.
No, sir. I'll
You
try, sir. But
try, and the other, I will ask everything. I will not say Hemali has told is correct or not. Everyone will answer, and then we will have the concluding answer.
so, sir, when the scooter hits
Ah,
me,
ah.
um, in case of Prathaman, so are you saying how I
Mhm.
should apply each of these 4, right?
Right. In the same
In
situation.
case of Prathama New York, sir, I will think of some stories where somebody in the past was hurt and
Right,
how they reacted or didn't react for that matter, because it's just my body getting hurt and it didn't affect my soul.
right.
So I will try to maintain that peace of mind. In case of Karmanu Yoga, I will think that it is some inauspicious karma that has come into fructification, and hence this has happened to me. In case of Charnanu Yoga, I will, think of the fact that I shouldn't retaliate back and, you know, hit the person, or who caused the accident, or scream or shout, because this this should be my conduct, and maintain a proper ethical. And in case of Zavyanuyog, sir, um, I will think that this is just external bodily hurt, and nothing beyond that.
Oh, very good. Good try. Now, Somya.
So in this situation, we can think of like this. So first the Pratmanuyog one. Pratmanuyog one, we can think of the stories, like we can think of the examples of some like na Mahapurush and Mahasati. So that in that situation, when they face these like no adverse situations, how they cope up with, how they like no, we can think
Accidents,
about the
footwear.
accidents, the stories of that one. In the
Yeah.
Karnani of the same example, we can think of that due to my some adverse like na fructification of bad karmas only,
Right.
I will got a situation. In the Chananyog, maybe I was going in the wrong direction. I was crossing the like na crossing someone else, and then I got met with an accident. So
Hmm.
that is where Chananyog. And the Dravyanu Yoga is like this because since I am soul and this is my body, I am different than the body. So this accident cannot hurt my soul. This can hurt only my body. So that way I am totally different than the body and the soul. This way we can apply these four anyugs in this
Very good.
situation.
Very good. Very good. Next, Pratibha ji, you will try.
Sure. Patmani Yog, like what she just said, that is more like a biography.
Right.
So in this situation, I think it's best to stay calm or try to remember the way the people cope with such situation. So thinking about the previous stories or something like that, that would help you. Then Karnani Yoga, again, that's due to your karma. So it could be because of the inauspicious karma or whatever has done in the past has must have come to fruition. So it could be the accident because of that. Then coming to Charnani Yoga, I think is to try to keep your ethics and conduct is best to stay calm and to deal with the situation. I mean, you could end up in a hospital or something, so it's best to stay calm and go through that. Whatever comes, you have to deal with it. Now, coming to Dravani Yoga, it's just like what she just, it's an accident. Accident happens all the time. So you cannot blame somebody. And this is the Dravani Yoga, I would say, is just to take care of it or whatever the medicines or whatever treatment you need that is taking care of it. That would be the Dravani Yoga.
Great. Now, who else will try? Somya, you try.
Yes, sir. In the first situation, applying Prathamaniyuk to this situation, we will try to remember all the other instances or incidences which occurred previously to other people and how they behaved in a very good manner in those conditions. So, for example, some neighbor could have been hit in the past and he retained calm, he did not panic, and all those things that he did, we can try to take lessons from that incidents and imitate him. So this is Pratmani Yoga. In Karnani Yoga, we will think about the reasons of occurrence of this incident, that is the accident, uh, is basically my own deeds that I did in the past, and due to those sinful deeds that I did, uh, inauspicious karmas that I bound, they are now coming into fruition, and this accident is a result of that. So this will calm our mind, and this will give us a satisfaction that nothing is happening due to the other person, but my own deeds are the reason of it. Now, applying Charnanyuk to the same situation, we will think about uh, what are the current circumstances or what are the current things that I did wrong that led to this accident. For example, I was not driving properly at not a proper speed, or I was trying to overtake from the wrong direction, and so on. So this is about the conduct or ethics that were wrong and that led to the accident. So this also tells us that if we follow the correct path and conduct, then no such accident could have occurred. And finally, coming to Dravyanyog, this is about the discrimination or discriminative knowledge. We will apply this knowledge that actually the accident is
Done.
of this.
Brilliant, very brilliant. Madhuji.
Yes, sir. Pratmanyug is just a minute. It is how we cope up to a particular situation. In this case, it is falling prey to the accident, and how we cope it up. Thinking other examples, maybe. Second, Karnanyug is due to some wrong deeds of my own, this situation would have risen, and hence its fruition. And Karnanyug is how we actually behave in a particular situation, or how moms or householders would have behaved, and to cope up with such situations at a particular point of time. And then Dravyanyog is I'm actually distracted because I have to leave.
No problem. You carry on, but you catch up on recording. Wherever you go, you apply this 4 exposition and let me know that today this situation I applied this and I was very peaceful, very calm and peaceful, and I enjoyed those moments. So everyone has answered, or somebody's left over?
I'm left, sir.
Yeah, you should try.
Yes, sir. So I would rather, so this has happened with me a couple of times. I got to know these concepts, but I didn't know how to apply this practically, but it was there in my subconscious. So what happened was once I was, uh, you know, I put on the mixer. I was new to cooking, and then garam garam kuch gravy leke मैंने mixie में डाल दिया, and I turned on the mixer. Now, what happened was when you put something very hot in the mixer, it tends to spread across. तो वो पूरा फैल गया, फूट गया मतलब basically पूरा. But in that moment when it happened, luckily my face was saved. It was just some things that fell in my hand. So it was not a major bruise. I could have literally burnt my face with the hot sauce, but that didn't happen. So in that situation, what I learned was Pratmanu Yog helped me solve ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है, because that is the first question कि अगर मैं गिर गई या कुछ हो गया ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है. So Pratmanu Yog solves for that because it helps us saying instances कि किसी और के साथ भी हुआ है and how have they dealt with in that situation. Karnano Yog was a question कि ये मेरे साथ क्यों हुआ है, why me and not somebody else. So this is because of my own deeds. Sometime in the past I did something wrong, because of which this is kind of fructifying to me. Chandanu Yog is how I conduct myself in that situation and ensure that this thing doesn't worsen off. And last में द्रव्यानु योग is me understanding in that situation कि अरे कोई बात नहीं, मतलब ये तो मेरे शरीर को लगा है, कुछ दाग रह भी जाएंगे. So it's just my body but not my soul who's getting affected, because my soul has been eternal and I've been living forever and ever, and just a bruise or burn cannot hurt me.
So can I complete? You complete. Sorry.
Yeah.
So this was one practical example of how I used it, and I didn't even realize कि किसको क्या बोलते हैं. But उस moment में जब लगी थी तब ऐसा लग रहा था कि मेरा पूरा चेहरा भी जल सकता था, but सिर्फ मेरे हाथ पे लगा और मैं बच गई, मतलब.
Right.
So yeah.
Good that you already applied in your life, and many of you must have applied in your life. But for a complete picture, when you are putting in 4 expositions simultaneously, that makes a situation where you are very peaceful, calm, and like this is something I would say out of this world. So as you apply more in your day-to-day life, you will realize that this is the best knowledge that I've acquired, and now I can win over any situation in life. This will inspire you. So we are not asking Samyak because he's driving and he has left a message that I'll be driving. So, but I will be listening. So it's good that you are utilizing your driving time to listen to this lecture. See, there are situations in our life that we can't help. Madhuji has to leave here today to out of station. So she also yesterday asked me the question that which book should I carry. So all this shows that you have a very deeper interest, and it's only a matter of time that you will become all a very enlightened one, and tread on the path of liberation and get liberated. So coming to the 4 expositions, now the conclusion.
Sir,
Right? So
sir,
I would rate.
sir,
Yeah.
sir, it is Madhu. I just want to complete it and I don't want to carry it forward. So I
Uh,
would like to say कि
uh,
ये जो चोट लगी है वो
uh,
ऊपरी चोट है और ये दिल को नहीं लगाना है, सोल को नहीं लगाना है, ये ठीक हो जाएगा. इट इज नॉट मतलब ये दिल की बात नहीं है, सोल की बात नहीं है.
राइट.
ठीक है सर.
आपको बताया, समझ में आ गया. बट सी
हाँ हाँ
बेस्ट, आपने
हाँ.
सबका आंसर सुना. यू हैव लिसन टू एवरीवन,
राइट
and the best
राइट.
answer I got, all means many have given correct answers, but the best I like was Soumya. The Charnan Yog, you should look while crossing the road, you should look left and right before crossing. Charnan Yog teaches us this. Charnan Yog does not teach us to be calm at that point of time. To remain calm is the result, but what you should think before that. So the Charnan Yoga teaches us that what mistakes we have done. So while crossing the road, we should look left and right. So if the scooter is coming there, you can already see that, and you can avoid that accident if you apply Charnan Yoga. द्रव्यान योग तो सबका ही सही था कि it's only happening to the body and not to the soul. So there was no problem. Karnan Yoga was no problem. Everyone knows that there is a rise of karma. The fruition of the karma has bring this situation. And Pratman Yoga is the past stories. So the icebreaker always is Charnan Yoga, the exposition on conduct. Okay. So most of the time we apply Dravyan Yoga कि वो तो क्रमबद्ध था, होना ही था, द्रव्यान योग. बट फिर भेद विज्ञान कर दिया कि मेरे ज्ञान का अग्नि बन रहा है, इससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं, मैं तो सिर्फ जान ही रहा हूँ. ऑल दिस थिंग्स वी से. सो द्रव्यान योग इज इजी टू अप्लाई, बट चरणान योग, I will learn from my mistakes. This is Charnan Yoga. Okay. So while crossing the road, you should look left and right. That was the real icebreaker. And everyone has given good answers. It is not that, but I want to sharpen your skill. It is not that completely wrong you have told. It's all correct only, but there is a degree of variations. So, now we'll take another example, and
So, sir,
so
just
I'm giving you 2
one.
examples as homework. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Sir, Charnanu Yoga would also be internal. Internally, you kind of like you said, it's also about checking whether I did cross the
It
road
is
properly.
about the accident
Conduct
happened. The accident happened just because you were not looking left and right. You were
introspection,
looking
your own
left and right when crossing the road. So Charnan Yoga teaches us what should be our conduct, what should be our conduct while crossing a road. Okay. So that is the Charnan Yoga. So the end result is like that you will be calm in that space. You will not be blaming the scooter rider, and you will not be blaming anybody for that, and you will just move ahead with that situation. उसके ऊपर पकड़ के नहीं रखोगे, आप छोड़ दोगे कि ठीक है, हो गया सो हो गया ना. तो these are all, this will come by practicing. मतलब कंटिन्यूस प्रैक्टिस करेंगे तो ये आपको easy हो जाएगा. You will feel that you can every now and then apply it, and you can have a very peaceful life. So I'll give you 2 more examples. So now the time is almost over. Only 5-6 minutes are left. So I'll just give you two examples. One is that there is a pain in the stomach. Okay, आपको पेट में दर्द हो रहा है. Now you apply 4 exposition on this. This is one example. Then there is an example. Recently, there are many suicide cases among the students in Kota. You must have read in the newspaper. There are around 30 students that have committed suicide this year in the first 4 months, right? So, what led them to commit suicide? So, you have to apply 4 expositions, not only one exposition, but 4 expositions. So, 2 examples. One is of your stomach pain, and the second is the suicide by the students of Kota. Okay. So you apply 4 expositions among these 2 situations, and you can keep the answers with you. In the next class, we will discuss these 2 examples first. I'll give you the answers, and you can manage. You can check up with your own answers, and you can rectify it. Okay. So one thing is certain that these 4 expositions complement each other. All the styles are different, right? But it complements each other. All the 4 exposition leads to passionlessness. Okay. You can change one exposition to another exposition. It is not that you are thinking on one line, you keep on thinking on that line. You can change according to the change in your emotions and sentiments. You can change exposition also. So initially you were thinking of the stories of great people, how they got accidents in their life and how they cope up, right? That many of you answers rightly. So in that same situation, you can always relate to the karma, right? So now your exposition has changed. It has now moved on to Karnan Yoga. Now, while thinking on Karnan Yoga about the past karmas that you have done, you still come to that your mistakes, that I should have looked left and right before crossing. So now you are into Charnan Yoga. And then suddenly you bring up this thought that, oh, I am the soul. Nothing has happened to me. I am just only an observer. I am not doer of these situations. So now you are into Dravyan Yoga. So you push through one exposition, and once you see that there is no further inroads, you switch on the exposition. Okay. Then you go further ahead in the path of passionlessness. Again, you stop at some stage. There is a stage of called saturation point, So you reach that saturation point, you cannot further go there deep. So what you will do, you will change the exposition. So it will again open new opportunities. Again, you will go in the same direction, that same direction of manifesting passionlessness, manifesting detachment. Okay. So you are moving in the one direction, but the exposition are changing. And by this way, you will reach the destination, you will manifest complete detachment. And that is the situation when there will be no reactions. Okay. So that is complete detachment, Purna Vitrakta, right? So this is a very good example. You will not read this kind of example anywhere in any scriptures. If you come across, you let me know. I have heard this through lectures of Pandit Sumit Prakash ji and Bade Pandit ji, Ravindra ji. Even some other Vidwans do practice, but very few of them. But this, I feel that this kind of practical application leads to balance, Balance means equanimity. Balance means passionlessness. Balance means detachment. No reaction. You are absorbing the whole situations. Okay. So you are not reacting. नहीं तो क्या होगा? If you apply one anuyog, then you will definitely have feeling of hurt. You will suffer. So when you apply 4, there is no way that any kind of reactions will come up. You will find the right balance. And when you want to take some decision also, there also you apply 4 exposition and you will get the best decision. Whether you should go abroad or not, right? Now you apply 4 exposition and you will find the correct decision whether I should go or not. Because along with each one of you, the situation is different. It is not the same situation with 2 individuals. Even the omniscient God who is in the 13th stage, केवली भगवान, 13वें गुणस्थान वर्तित केवली के भी औदिक भाव मैच नहीं खाते हैं. It is not the same life for each omniscience. So how can it be same for us? It cannot be same. And the solutions also will differ. You know, Urja is more inclined towards Karnan Yoga. So you will always relate to Karnan Yoga first. But somebody else is inclined to Dravyan Yoga. So he will apply Dravyan Yoga first. But when you apply 4 expositions, you get the right balance. Okay. So on this note, we end. There is still something that I want to say, but that will, now the time is over. So we'll start with this. Again, 4 expositions, some discussion, and the 2 examples that I've given you that you have to prepare and be ready. I may ask any one of you to read once, or I may choose to give you the answers directly. That depends on that day. But before that, I will say something more on 4 expositions, and then we will conclude this chapter and move on to the next chapter, which is the 3 world, or and you also read Parsvanath. There is a chapter on Parsvanath that is a story only, Pratman Yug story. So you come prepared with these 2 chapters. After finishing the discussion on 4 exposition, we will move on to 3 world and the Parsvanath story. Okay. So this is all that we have today.
Excuse me, sir.
Urtaji, the
Yes.
problem is that the last date for Gandhar Mulyankan has crossed and very few people have submitted Gandhar Mulyankan. So I am not able to make out that who are going to continue and who are not going to continue. But still we will wait for another 10-15 days. Let's see how many of you complete. So
So,
then we will take a call.
सर एक्सक्यूज मी, ये जो क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है, क्वेश्चन में व्हाट इज एन अनुयोग? तो अनु मतलब अपने वी हैव नॉट कम अक्रॉस दिस वर्ड, आई थिंक.
Anuyog means exposition. Exposition means kathan.
एक्सपोजिशन.
Yeah.
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा,
The way of
ठीक है ठीक है.
way of presentation.
हाँ, अच्छा अच्छा, ठीक है.
So
Thank
the
you,
thing
sir.
only I explained. You, I think you can. You
ओहो,
join.
नहीं, आई जॉइन बट मेरा एज ऑलवेज माय इंटरनेट comes and goes. Signal is very bad here.
Okay, okay, okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the class.
No problem, no problem. You go through the recording once again and
Right, right.
see that you apply it in your day-to-day life. Make it a practice to apply it in your day-to-day life, and your
Yes.
life will be very good. You know.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है. 9 बार नौकार मंत्र गिनेंगे.